Good afternoon. My name is Paul Shabas, and as the Treasurer of the Law Society of Upper Canada, I'd like to welcome you all to this Law Society Awards ceremony. Bonsoir, je m'appelle Paul Shabas, je suis le trésorier du barreau au Canada, et je voudrais vous souhaiter la bienvenue à la cérémonie de remise des prix du barreau. I want to start by recognizing that we are here together in Toronto, which is a Mohawk word for where there are trees standing in the water, and to recognize that we are on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the New Credit and the Haudenosaunee people. And I say that in a spirit of reconciliation, and I say that because as I heard the Grand Chief of the Assembly of First Nations talk about this at lunch today, our recognition of the traditional territories should not become a rote thing. It should become something that we always think about and reflect on and recognize our obligations both ways, whether we're recent settlers of this land or people who've been here long before Canada ever existed, and to recognize that we all have an obligation to share this land and to treat it well. This ceremony tonight has been called for the purpose of conferring the Law Society medals, the William J. Simpson Distinguished Paralegal Award, the Lincoln Alexander Award, the Laura Legg Award, and the J. Shirley Dennison Award. In addition to our current benchers who've joined us to my right, we have two special guests with us as well, the Honourable George Strathy, the Chief Justice of Ontario, and David Stearns, the President of the Ontario Bar Association. The Law Society of Upper Canada was created back when Ontario was called Upper Canada by an act of the legislature in 1797, some 220 years ago. And it is charged with the mandate of governing the province's lawyers and paralegals in the public interest. It was the first professional organization under British rule to be granted the right of self-governance, quite a distinction. To fulfill our mandate, it is necessary that we maintain high standards of competence and ethics. It is also necessary to provide mentorship and leadership to those who follow us, and to enhance access to justice and perform public service through pro bono, legal aid, and volunteer services. We also have a responsibility to promote the values and traditions that are the foundation of the legal profession. Formal recognition of outstanding contributions made by members of the legal profession was not as necessary in years gone by as perhaps it is today. There were fewer lawyers in the olden times, and they were better known to one another. But today, with a membership surpassing 50,000 lawyers and more than 8,000 licensed paralegals in Ontario, it is important that we publicly honor those who bring distinction and honor to our professions. In doing so, we are not only recognizing the contributions they have made, but we are identifying them as role models to other members and reaffirming the public's confidence and trust in our professions. The recipients we honor today are no exception. They exemplify the highest ideals of professionalism, public service, and leadership. And it is my great privilege to bestow these awards on those we recognize tonight. Tonight's awards are among the highest professional honors granted by the Law Society. Each spring, a committee chaired by the Treasurer and composed of 4 benchers, members of our Board of Governors, the Chief Justice, the Council of Ontario Law Deans, the President of the Ontario Bar Association, the Chair of the Federation of Ontario Law Associations, and the President of the Advocate Society, review written nomination for each of the lawyer awards. The committee selects and recommends the names of potential recipients for the approval of convocation, our governing body. Members of this year's committee were, as I've said, the Honourable George Strathy, Chief Justice of Ontario, Dean Edward Iacobucci, representing the Council of Ontario Law Deans, David Stearns from the Ontario Bar Association, Bradley Berg, President of the Advocate Society, and Eldon Horner, Chair of the Federation of Ontario Law Associations. The following benchers were also members of the selection committee: Diane Corbiere, Michelle Haig, William McDowell, Sandra Nishikawa, Andrew Spurgeon, and Kathy Strasberg. Nominations for the Paralegal Award are reviewed by a selection committee including the Treasurer and the following individuals: the Honourable Faith Finnestad, Associate Chief Justice of the Ontario Court of Justice, Her Worship Justice of the Peace Marie Christine Smythe, and paralegal benchers Michelle Haig, Kathy Corsetti, Robert Bird, Brian Laurie, Marion Lippa, together with the Vice Chair of the Paralegal Standing Committee, Janice Krieger, and the lay bencher, Jan Richardson. We had an extraordinarily strong field of candidates for each of our awards this year, so I can confirm that the committee's final decisions were indeed very difficult to make, and I want to express my sincere gratitude to all the members of both committees. Now, on with the award presentations. First, the Law Society medals. The Law Society Medal was established in 1985. The medal is granted to lawyers who, and I quote, perform the ordinary tasks of a lawyer, but with such diligence or effectiveness or so much to the benefit of the profession as a whole that they deserve recognition. It recognizes outstanding service within the profession, whether in the area of practice or in the academic sphere, or in some professional capacity where their service is in accordance with the highest ideals of the legal profession. And tonight we will recognize 7 lawyers who have demonstrated outstanding service to the legal profession: Patrick Case, Larry Chartrand, Sarah Cahoon, Michael Izinga, Marie Hennon, Joanna Radbird, and Gary Yee. As I introduce each medal recipient, I would ask that they come to the stage to receive their medal, and they will then have the opportunity to address the audience briefly. So our first recipient, Patrick Case. Mr. Case's award will be presented to him by Raj Anand, bencher. Called to the bar in 1988, Patrick Case has shown extraordinary leadership advocating for social justice and has led the way in establishing policies and practices on how to address racism. He was a driving force in the campaign to reform Ontario's human rights legislation and enforcement system. As a professor, he brings his knowledge and passion for human rights not only to teach valuable legal skills, but also teaching a more compassionate and inclusive approach to practicing law. From 2006 to 2010, he was a commissioner of the Ontario Human Rights Commission, helping to build a more accessible and responsive agency. And just this week, he began his duties as the Assistant Deputy Minister for Human Rights and Equity with the Ministry of Education. In the letter of support, it was stated, Pat provides leadership, mentorship, and encouragement to new generations of human rights, poverty law, and social justice lawyers. His dedication and professionalism serve as a model to so many who seek to put the law to work for, rather than against, those most marginalized in our society. On behalf of the Law Society of Upper Canada, in recognition of your outstanding service exemplifying the highest ideals of the legal profession, I present to you, Patrick Case, the Law Society Medal. Congratulations.
Such an recipient of this award for access to justice and poverty issues. I'm very grateful to the two Alexes, Alexander Toffley and Alexander Kirk, for nominating me, and for all